Hi there YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Auntie A's Kitchen. Simple and delicious food cooked and prepared in South Korea. I want to do a quick shout out to anyone that's new here with this channel. Thanks for joining. Today in the kitchen we're going to be making homemade roasted tomato soup. It's one of my favorite soups and so simple to make. In the oven we're going to put the tomatoes with the pepper, the garlic and the onion, and as they cook the flavors combine. It is just a bowl of deliciousness. When it comes out of the oven we'll do a little bit of cooking on the hob and add a few more spices, and then it is good to go. One of the things I love about this soup is that you can keep it in the fridge for a few days, or as we're going to do today, I'm going to put it straight in the freezer and then save it for a rainy day. So let's look at the ingredients and get cooking. You'll need some tomatoes, a red onion, a red pepper, and some garlic, which we will roast in the oven. This will make about 4 portions of soup. The spices, paprika, thyme, and pepper, with some basil there at the front that I keep in the freezer. My vegetable stock, some homemade bread, which a friend just recently showed me how to make, and I will put some cheese, melt some cheese on top, so it'll be melted cheese on toast with tomato soup. So let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to do is prepare our tomatoes. Let's just wash those. Smell of these tomatoes, just incredible. If you have anyone in your family who do not like eating tomatoes like me, then tomato soup is a great way to get them eating tomatoes. Ironically, out of all the different soups I make, roasted tomato is one of my favorite flavor combinations. I typically eat a lot of soup because they're easy to make, easy to store, and they are a light lunch or dinner option to have available. Next, I will cut the core out of the tomatoes and then cut them in half and put them face up in my oven tray. So what I've done is I've cut up tomatoes, onions and garlic and red pepper. And I like to pre-peel my garlic because I think it's easier than putting a whole clove in and then squidging it out at the end. So what I'm going to do now is season this. I will check again as I am cooking. First I'm going to add some pepper. Then I'm going to add some thyme, and this will help bring out the flavors while it's cooking. A pinch of paprika. And then a generous amount of olive oil over everything. And then just to finish it off, a pinch of salt. This will go into the oven now for 40 to 45 minutes. I will keep checking it. And as soon as those skins on the outside start to shrivel and the tomato has a golden roasted look, I will bring it out of the oven. So these have been in the oven 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is just let that cool down a little bit, just for 5 minutes. Oh, the smell is incredible. And do a little bit of oil over the bread. I'm using a very strong cheese, Gruyere. Let's get some cheese on each one of these. Once your tomatoes have cooled down a little bit, put them into your blender. If you have a stick blender, then that is okay to use as well. Let's make sure not to waste any of the natural juice. Just before I finish my soup, I will now put my cheesy bread into the oven to toast up. I have just added some basil that I keep in my freezer, but I recommend that if you have fresh basil, then use that. And then blend your soup up to the consistency you would like. Oh, the smell is incredible. Next, pour your soup into your pan. Into here, I'm now going to add my vegetable stock. Just mix that up, and we're now going to bring this to the boil. Lovely, silky soup. Delicious. You could, if you wanted, to add some cream to this, but I think it is fine as it is. See if we need to add anything. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Before putting your soup in a bowl, the last thing to do is serve up your cheese on toast. If you don't have cheese on toast, I recommend some crackers. Finish your soup off, put some basil on top. If you have fresh, I highly recommend this, and a little bit of cream just makes it look good. So here we have homemade tomato with garlic, onion and red pepper inside our soup. And I made homemade bread This was some that I made earlier in the week with a friend who taught me how to make it, and I put Gruyere cheese on top because it's nice and strong. So put some of that inside. Now the wonderful thing about homemade soup, I will have a bowl for lunchtime. I will put some in my refrigerator, and then I will put the rest in the freezer for another time, and then when I need it, just let it come out of the freezer and it will be ready for that evening. Soup is just a perfect lunchtime treat with some bread, or you could do crackers. Homemade soup. And I really love this because there's very little cream. It's all natural ingredients. So you can taste the sweetness of the pepper, but it doesn't overpower. I can taste the garlic, the tomato, absolutely delicious. This for me is by far my favorite flavor soup. It's not common in Korea. In Korea, I'll see a lot of broccoli soup. In Korea, I will see corn soup. So this is a really fresh change. Now you could serve this cold, but I think it's best hot. I don't like eating tomatoes, but tomatoes are very healthy for you. But homemade soup is a great way of eating tomatoes. I think Korea should do more tomato soup because it's really easy to do. I know a lot of my friends grow their own tomatoes, so a fantastic soup to be able to cook. And it doesn't take that long to cook. About 40-45 minutes in the oven, allowing all your vegetables to roast, and then 10 minutes just to simmer on your hob once you have blended the soup up. So thanks for joining me today on another episode of Auntie A's Kitchen, simple and delicious food cooked and prepared in South Korea. Today, homemade tomato soup. We made it with tomatoes, pepper, onion and garlic roasted in the oven, and then we put it into our blender with some basil and other spices, and then on the hob for about 5-10 minutes while we roasted our homemade bread and cheese until it toasted up. So toasted cheese on toast with tomato soup, perfect combination. But don't take my word for it. You go and cook this for yourselves now. Feel free to experiment, adding in different spices or flavor combinations. You could put cream in the soup. Have a go. It's absolutely easy to make and delicious to the palate. Thanks for joining today. Look forward to seeing you in another episode. Bye bye. God bless. Ding.